Hello, viewers, wherever you are. Welcome to LSTV1. As usual, it's your Saturday program coming to you live and direct on LSTV, Facebook, as well as the YouTube channel. So we say happy Saturday to all of you out there and welcome back again. Reality Check Show. Your presenter, Lady Ba, and we have Bala.
Well,
Bala, say your greetings.
yeah, we are back again. The same thing. Reality check show. So we're gonna we have great topics today. So you just have to tune in and then just stay tuned and then you will get to you guys pretty soon.
That's right. Just stay tuned and mbokk yi di leen gërëm rek di leen sant saa su nekk rek di leen wax dal leen ak jàmm fii ci LSTV 1 ñu indi leen li nga xamante ne mooy reality check show boo xamante ne dañuy waxtaanee lépp ci biir dara du sedd ku mel rek bokkoo waaye nag dañ fi ñëw rek di wax suñu xalaat ne doonu ne nag looloy dëgg waaye nag suñu xalaat la ñuy wax yéen tamit am ngeen droit wax seen xalaat ñu sotti wante xalaat ndaxte Gambie moo ñu saxal moo ñu jógal kon tey we have a line of programs waaye pour wax leen ne rek ne Ibs dina ñëw in half an hour pour join programme bi waaye in the meantime man maa bala dinañ fi nekk ñu waxtaanee yeneen topic waaye fi ñuy commencé nag tey moom mooy affaire lekk food xaw ma ndax xam ngeen ko de ba comme bala batuka bula yafuma ni ka kanga sa den nga dunga kono.
Yeah, so it's all about programs soling care organized Nyamen, especially the naming ceremony programs, wedding programs, birthday parties, and other cultural events and so. So what I do realize is that most of Gambian programs sold to you got Domoroke program blah. So Molkata Sirene pretty much the entire night until at the end of the night or time like a domoro saf and the domoro saf nyamen it's becoming a kind of a grumbling part where everybody is scrambling for food model bi jele mena ko ko bol jamal tay ke la nyoka those take away bol so na ka say so eventually dol ka tara jele ay no fulol bambantara la eka lot of bolso lanyo kane they take it home. Some people are there, they end up not going home with any food. Yeah, so when you compare Gambian those kind of programs to like Nigerians or Kenyan programs, well, if you go to those programs, the first thing they do is the food is just available, so it's like eat and party, so and it gives you more energy because some of these nationality they invite Gambian program also they don't want to come because they call it like a ball head party, because you make people sit there without no drinks, without no juice, without no water, without no food the entire night. So I think it's time for us to look into these programs, not trying programs to reform, especially these naming ceremony eventually and equally eventual to reform them. At least we serve some kind of food in there. Need more total, people can take it at home.
That's very true. Eka jele fang dolbi jeni we boka ne ya ini nyin to go plate sol kana wala ni mbuso fang enade. Because it's like nita de hewoto like you said. Jani hewo fang e commence probably midnight wala 1 o'clock. Jani te be bola je konko bine fala maybe man simang ya because mo le wal angulo fanan jibe nte be bola ya man simang ya kon kata hewol. Hewtiol man tere la domorol saf kam for after 1 after 2 ni maybe ni kulio leng ikafo muso menguluta comme kuy ngente abe dunna
Yeah.
be yo abe falina abe dunna 100 times, so you have to sit ye batum fo be pare jani ye domoro saf is very very wrong because mol bote ya nyame malo but fanang nyininka e même fo woleng well niaje wokake is because niko mole ko alna nang hewola ni e domoro ke juna do mobe katale ibuka batum fang programo ni e bang and they leave. Some of them they just come there pour que domoro nyin sika inaita nyola, which is very unfortunate. Second thing ningaje I mean no offense to men, but ningaje ke wonata programo to ye nyung to go play so la fasiata sometimes ika kele 2 3 ya be fenke pack and then inai say for muso tete bulu sokon hanyatra muso table fo sunkuto table because nte la kema nyanta okela yeta hewoto ye nyum well on me nte as ila muso because probably mol ba mira la mbuka tabiro ke suokono or maybe man tabiro no. There is a lot of factors in that. So nte bugalum fo mol ki hakilo tulele bang when they are doing this, you have to be considerate not just to you but as your partner niatra ye muso soto niatra muso le muiti fanang. I mean, come on, you're the head of the household. Itelebe tabiro itelebe kulkela. You should be very mindful of what you do in public because it's a reflection of you and how you, I mean, manage your household. But it cannot la hewoto. Jadi domoro kongo isaf. Ite la to go fiankolke. Some people ngadol jefang is like, I'm like, are you guys serious right now? And bala maybe me domoro kole fang fokande, but not just domoro. Naje musol barama musol nyo xamantene like dañoo talk titaru on Facebook. Like you think like these people they got it. But when they go into this house, they go on rent even a car just to show off. He ali kari jila ni mutu sifa menata nanja. Mutu kutole babulu teng. Wala yaje musoye wulu fang aita fundung loan, big loan to just to have this big bed where they sit on in the middle of the bed kanata lo tadron kam fantandi. Katandi ko he kari la larango. Ali yaje la yina tal dame ali yaje la hewo. I just wonder like nimbe pour mu.
You
It
know,
just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it's basically
When you put into factor, we will tell Gambian already. I'm like a
yeah. So I bet that, we're just trying to show up, sort of things that we don't really have, and because there's so much competition in the community, because need a program okay more they see what you provided. You feel me doing. In more men can mingle, they look at all those. So what I think that preso katana musol kane, where any musol na program okay la can make solo call. Wodole menke afanayoke, but mola sudal monkey clean. The people earning are different. Yeah, so that competition is it's so wrong. And come yes, nimol dala program lalto, nimol domorol ke juna, dolka silent. But there's a reason for that because you know what? Everybody don't want to stay at the program for the rest of the night. That's number one. Number two, because you're more dalindalale. You're more than that so much so that they that program blaro. Some of them become a program because they can't domoro because serve until after midnight or until after late night. So I think the program organizers will then changes not. First of all, a program will that is Juna molkata programol to juna e ka domorol nin dringsol nin domoro just half mole molka domoro ke padike because ne domoro ke when you are partying and eating, it's going to encourage people to sit down. The reason why some people like to go home because they are hungry. Food bigele, they have to carry it at home. So obviously you cannot just be sitting at a program with empty stomach, dehydrating, and the more it dehydrated, ni tarata, even party like tarata, ila sense of smell changes a lot than if you are not dehydrated. So all these things, is something that people should look into it and try to reform. So and also musola new competition or inyanta trial yo think because mola surundal kilinti so eka kudul men ways kulio kuna. They could have just go spend that on something else. Akadina fa eka bula asobi kuntola me alonko. Some people cannot afford it, but it has to be nati. Ima musul bula they wear the clothes they want. It has to be na they have musole ko yota. Even though tora kana because $300 it cost spend has to be kuno. Some people might not be able to afford it, but because of pressure menkatari kang kari atale nimata or karla fanglo nimata abenjala sende. It's crazy. Another thing is also the reason why some people don't go, personally, I don't go to the program just because to eat. Nindira program or in fact, because the only thing coming to fruit so long. Memu kodi, ne program for mole, equating la wulude kulila sodo. People invest on you. One, molkela outfit will send. Two, eka jansol dilale. In diaspora here, sometimes people don't give less than $50. So obviously, nimole okay neither the program model. They also expect some kind of, it's not a payback, but some kind of gesture and Wobekala Muneti, give them refreshments, let them be at the party, and it still a to a domoro ke it drinks all me refreshment all ming but need to all be pack it at a funtla as a kuli la ebe funtla after midnight or 1 o'clock ebe funtla because you gotta be changing from one clothes to another. That you even more torakang. And remember, some people after the end of the night they're going to work. Don't do Sunday morning. They have to wake up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. Ndela masol especially, mome yalan kontel buka hani konkonya. Ite ende sambe tela hewo da even do na ebe findi la ebe pare la changing all the time. I mean, how did you even consider my well-being? Because ni me hagilo timbe collapse lale. Because ni ha wala nantel buka sum because we have ulcer. Eta CJ way even sima. You can't survive it. But then the thing is, nehud ba nehud, but I think Gambians, we just need to, like you said, mole na hewol naka reform. Ni hewo nyanta start la midnight. Make sure it's nafa borom hell bi neka. Why do for neka di call nini pour ñu ñew for the hell at midnight and you don't show up until 2. And bala ñoo de nga commencé this change bena yere, change ñaari yere. Who knows whether you even bought those years? Bu ñu ken ray. Let them just put on what they have. This is not a competition. You're either celebrating your child or this is your wedding. It's a special day. Who cares what you put on or what you change into? You can even wear one cloth and you still stand out. Suma class yangi ni man suma gene do my makeup so I just put my eyebrow, I'm done. Eyelashes I never wear it because I'm just comfortable with being simple. But you will see them do all these long nails, all these big hips, all these big muscles, and then you gain us and you think like you're for touch. No, you didn't touch anything. You just have you're just compiling aha si ñeneen ñi nga xamante ne ñëw nañ si sa xew lekkuñ sax seen kër waaye ñu toog foofu noonu ba 1, 2, 3, especially in the diaspora. How in the Gambia, that's how it is over there too. But what I do experience in the diaspora, the way they do programs is just old school. What in your signs and all that, because it doesn't tell well on the person that is calling people to come over. Because if I have to come over to your hell, wala njansa jël suma time wara make up bu sa chap chapal tuuti. I mean, come on. That's also taking time out of my time because the makeup alone is time consuming. Because you have to do your foundation, your powder, your all that. You have to leave your kids if you don't have a babysitter nga buy for sa domi nga ne nga dem si helbi. So they should be considerate when they call us for their health. We don't come there to see you change all night, and we don't come there to be on your schedule. Te ñewuñ fofu nonu tamit pour xiif. Why so it's just sad. But
It
anyways,
is, and
do
I
you have
wish,
anything to add onto that, Bala, before we
yeah,
go into another?
yeah, and I think I wish women, they can know how beautiful they are when they look natural, But unfortunately, Musol, for some reason, Albikawaje, you guys think all this beauty plus, men love you guys for this beauty plus. No, look, if you do
Bala.
beauty, no, I'm for real. Look, beauty plus is just an attraction, but you know what? If you muso make a beauty plus ke you taida village you muso bonena is naturally looking you compare them ya you be kyodo jumala choose la case so be look at beauty plus so choose so you guys have to reduce this beauty plus and this beauty plus latina program are expensive because alkany preparation membeke it's all about kind of like a fake life beauty plus thing. I mean ni
We
make
have been
what
trying ourselves for you guys. I mean, come on.
but
Give us some credit. Welcome from Beautify until late.
we prefer seeing guys natural than in a beauty plus. Ye muna fo eko salung manke musu nyima futu futu because so man.
You're
Yeah,
right,
I
though.
mean,
Mhm.
it's a thing. I hope people can just, I mean, some years ago I talked about it, but there's no changes. But I think it's high time more people talk about it now.
Mhm.
We tell them the reason why we're talking about this thing. At least maybe it can click in their mind now. Yeah, lonko. People are actually more
Mhm.
of the sofa kind of going to these programs. More of the sofa kind of, you know.
Mhm. I quite agree with you. So the more we talk about it, I guess hopefully it will give an idea to modo la melialan ko hamga iba ke kan wala maybe fana ika kele on aware imam ba kalama like this is affecting people that are coming to I mean ila hewo. But the fact is that's why we're here. We will be talking about it. So that's just a first icebreaker to get into the nitty-gritties. But what's the next topic, Bella? I think we should be talking about the windstorm, the disaster in the Gambia recently.
Yeah, we can. I think that's
I'll let you
you know,
lead on that.
you know, so I mean, I know there is a windstorm in Gambia. The thing is, anytime Fonyuna the Gambia or Samana the Gambia, it's gonna cause a lot of destruction. For the simple fact
Mm-hmm.
on infrastructure is so bad. So even in the US here, when this wind comes, like a destruction or kele, but it's very limited destruction. So Gambia is quite different. Yeah, so it's just the bad infrastructure and more kela, kola bill nyame, kela household bill nyaming. They are not investing so much into their houses. It's because of maybe imasrole, or it's because of poverty level and things like that. So this thing is really difficult. It's difficult for our country, and it will always happen. But also I think government has some kind of responsibility as well, because the government have proposed movement ka life sono and the mole, and infrastructure co bill, it's another part of government's job. But until kaja ko na leader solely, will make it a priority is totally different from nation building. So they are good at just senselessly spending money on project melalong ko a project ko bikabang ika kuro for the project, but kodo from baby ka kung project ko kuna project ko ka start le project ko ka ibika end no, because of the fact ko ika kodo ming allocate the money goes from one hand to another. There is no system in Gambia where they monitor, a project called mail sponsor. If you give me a project, if I give you a project, being the head of a project that you need to develop something, I need to know how you spending that money. The money I gave you, I need to know how you spending it. So if you squandered it, you have to be responsible for it. But the government more sort of mail vocal, even your more sort of, they are more corrupt people, because it's too much masalaha and corruption. But in this case, government has some responsibility, because if they provided good infrastructure in the Gambia, maybe in destructional menka ke bake, ni floatul menka ke kamola silol bille, eka mung de eka nim bero da manake duma ye manola kan. When water comes, that goes. You have to build in the city. You have to make a concrete. You end up slow concrete lale. US ajube in West Ikamoneke ka slow concrete le. So ni mano kakang ni mano tinyata concrete ko membe duma wuka tinya. You repair mano, but gambe ni slow tinyata. The entire renovation like because munakake mano ka tarmenkang, it's so fragile. So I mean, it's really difficult. Nabanko, I mean, we just need good leadership. Meleanko, they will have such kind of mentality. Yeah, development but so far the leaders that we have, especially Membije right now, doesn't know anything about development. Cannot even at all pronounce a simple sentence. It doesn't have the ideology for any development. So Gambia will continue encountering such things. you know
My take on that would be it's true, the government has a responsibility. Actually, we all have a responsibility, and this is all our fault until bay. Because if you think about it, Gambia saying moka wulle drong ay lansang anywhere, ni trees bj, whatever, and the frustration is our problem. And not only that, foundation, when we are building our homes, the foundation probably is not even good. We don't have engineers to survey those places before we even build our houses. We can just hire any layman from anywhere who is so used to doing things the old way. Will just come ay nanang drong ay naka concrete ko la brico la and without any survey of that, because maybe jemu nung farolity. Well, maybe nung jemu nung like of like a muddy place. So ndela idea momenti waleng, if government was to put things in place, let's say they be nite nata na ye land sang dulato. Jani ye construction okay wolanoto. Make sure you have all the clearance in the sense ko ye nying sense of put in there ko. Jani ye land bill at that location. Make sure ye engineer nyini meyalanko is a trained engineer to survey the place ka tandiko. Well, this place is safe to build this thing and this is what is required. Just like in the US, Janjibe Hanibe households and Kanali assessment, okay, they do everything to make sure that your safety is important. But Gambia, we don't have anything like that. Probably we do, but then maybe akamutako Eves Natalie, but dundi fenko kono.
Okay. Up.
Hello guys, how are you?
Good to see you.
Welcome, Eves. Well, and for being late, you will be charged.
For being late, I'll be charged.
Yes. But anyways, like I was saying, I mean, government has a lot of responsibility to put in place, but us as individuals, responsibility sotole nyanta menkele me yalanko, it's to our own beneficial. Nyatra new ite yajele bala jang in America jang ika na house is sold, even in an apartment, ika make sure like you have home insurance. That is because nyatra disaster happened or something. They can come at least and cover some part of it or help you out. But in nyatra until anytime disaster happened to mole go phone mike wala ndesa na mole homeless yetara sirim banta wala bedulani ne bestela daming is very undone. Where is that budget ikamem put on the side for disaster management? Nyatra anytime nyinketa akitale last year or year before last, there was a heavy rainstorm. Mojamal affected that. So nyatra woketa in a country, and the government ila responsibility len kalonko. Well, probably this will happen again. Let them do an assessment. Yalonko maybe nyimbe kelale kote next year or the following year or so. Let them put some kind of mechanism or preparation in place. Nyatra anata ke kotenke. At least our citizens can run there to have shelter or to at least have food for 30 days or 90 days. May yanonko abe save a little bit for janibe recover from the damage that happens to your own house. Because it's very disheartening. Aman dia nehut si hall. Ngadeka sisa kir. Yaksan jabot si sutura. And then one day you have to be homeless, sitting on the street. Wala new Facebook, wala dem fenen. Gor momud yenei. Dinyan alindema. Mbama nimfama fele banta. Wala ndingol fele maladu la soto. It's foro bukala fi wala akim malundile saka ni manke daner lati. But our government, our people, they have the responsibility until more as an individual. Niela land sang janiya bill. Make so niatra government ma mezosta. Take it out of your own pocket. It's like we have all these tough constructions there, all these properties. They should be censored, and it should come from the government or even your private body. You look into all this. All this estate all sang. Make sure they force them to build to grow trees over there. At least we have all these tall trees. Will block the wind from making certain damage, even if not everything would be covered, but at least some extent of damage will not be as bad as it is right now. But ikajele Gambia moka wula drong a euro kuntu without even a permission, without even any approval, because euro benna korda dala wala abennani. No, euro also have a right to live. It's part of our forest. Wala nani if we are crying foul, ngafoko ha Chinese all natale ben na fish fenko tinyaka ibenyikika. Where did we stand? What action did we take before we even get to this point? Nyanta menkela mangwaleke as citizens, and the government is lacking behind, and we are supporting them because anytime disaster keta until be finti nga go for mike or support each other, we are making them lazy. We are making them not to do what they are supposed to do. They are there for us because like Ips was saying the last time, Adama Barola Fenko Jibe, when it comes to the state budget, how much is going into the state house? How much are they spending on because defense run the state house corner? Other than that, we have the interior, the education, and other places. But look at their budget. If makes the analysis of all budget combined together is less than what Adama Barrow's government or the state budget is for the state house, which is very wrong. So if neither that much money is going into state house or their budget is that big, what are they spending the money on? So if disaster happen, they should be able to have a relief for us to be taken care of. But that is not happening. And this is not political. We're just talking about humanity here. We don't want to see our parents or other families out there on the street because they don't have a place to stay. When we can put a stop to this. And it has to start now. I'll let Ibs come in before I start going all over.
You guys were talking. I was listening to you guys earlier, but I told Kakubon Valko, Manyana Domoro Kalapati Lava, Unabeke.
Mol manyana mo.
Domoro Kalapati Dula.
More for the
From Mamoiku.
no Mamoiku.
Yo, Budu, Kadu, Yalam Wojama, Sako Fuller, Bulanda, Bulanda. Takonita na padi lara ke.
Ito mo sere roll kin pinang kuna. Yo sere nga le kare left. Maje. Bata domor ko na domor na because he's serial. We are into windstorm.
All right. Okay. So I listened to you guys, and Jamie, you brought up an important. You did great analysis, by the way. Top of the heart, I'll give it to you. Regarding what's happening in Gambia.
For the first time.
It's great analysis. I like it, So basically, you touched on a point, I just want to emphasize that. Crowdfunding makes the government lazy. In the fact that, Kamika Jibele, Gambia kuoko keda na lopitano ninku mankida je munaka ke GoFundMe ninku keda dladodo mola bungo boy dladodo GoFundMe everything that they're doing GoFundMe. What happens now? Government Buffalo go okay. I mean the citizens are taking up the government's duties. So what happens now is that the government is going to sit back and let the citizens do what they need to do. I know the citizens are complimenting the efforts of government, but overdoing that, creates a problem to where the government is not serving their people. Now, while those funds that should be allocated to the hospitals and other areas, now those funds, get used in some other ways, right? But when you come to this form that happens, the government should learn a key lesson. This is not the first time that this is happening. Nimbe happen kane every year, and it's getting worse and worse year after year. So they should put in place contingency measures on saying, okay, historically, for the past 5 years, this is what's happening. And the rate of damage is just progressing at each time. So now we should forecast out and say, okay, by next year, this is the level of damage that is expected. And with the level of damage that's expected, is going to equate X amount of dollars or dollars, right? So NEO assessment can then the National Disaster Management Agency should come with a concrete plan and say, okay, this will be our response approach, when these disasters do happen, okay? We also know the disaster-prone areas. Most of these newer construction areas are up to code, so they may not be impacted as well, but the older settlements are the disaster-prone areas. Now, the money that we have raised, Ngokudo used Lanyadile to create temporary housing, these big tents for these people. Maybe they can stay there for a month, 2 months, or 3 months in order to be able to, figure out, how to move forward. But if that's not happening, also provide them with food and clothing or whatnot. Everything that's damaged during the windstorm, they should be able to have it provided by the government in those temporary settlements. But if those temporary settlements are not happening now, that these people are moving away, trying to find other places to stay. If they don't find places to stay, desperate people, what does that do? the crime rate is going to increase because people are going to find a way to eat. They're going to find a way to survive, and it's not nothing is worse than someone does, back his or her back is against the wall. They'll do whatever they need to. Okay. So I think we need to do that. On the government side too, just because we're in an election year, this thing happens and the president decides to go and meet the people, doing an assessment. You're only going out to meet the people to see what's happening because it's an election year. What other tragedies happen? These things have happened prior, but we've never seen the president come out. But now he's coming out. I mean, when you even come out to console the people, like the Gambia, what they say, Gambia word full of a kid and come for it, debunk and in solidarity. New word full, niamo dauda bori. So every time, you can have them call like, president expressing solidarity, but solidarity for what? What are you offering the people when you go and sit with these people? What are you offering them? If you do not have anything to offer them, I don't think the president should be there going. So and another thing too, now these people don't have anything to go. The president's party is spending a lot of money on NPP pickup trucks for the campaign. Before investing that, your people are now homeless.
It's
Why
not
would
even investing, it's wasteful spending.
there you go. So, but now that money should be catered towards the people that really need this. So I think, Bala, before I go further, maybe you can also tell us, what your thoughts are.
Oh yeah, I did earlier. Coming up government responsibility mentioned, no, government has responsibility because right now, Barrow should have been thinking about how to help these people, and yeah, for Nyameng, they have to come up with a system ko. It now happened again, they will be able to tackle it. But in the past, they didn't do it. They sit down until it happens now. And the worst thing they are doing right now is going out, like you said, showing solidarity. But what are you offering? They are not offering anything. So, the government has a upper hand in this. I mean, in the Gerota, is they need to do so much, to control this, and they have to come up with a system where they will be able to. They cannot avoid it, but at least Nana be more Markle and Yaming. They should come up with those strategies.
Okay, sounds good, Bala. I like that. I like, what you just mentioned. But another thing that we need to kind of also look into is Fenkonying. Um, People, we need to start talking. Okay, like they say here in America, closed mouths don't get fed. If we keep quiet, and today my problem is assuming the responsibilities of government. When people sit and say, okay, we're going to be doing this, when the government is supposed to be doing that, then how are we going to get fed? Our mouths are closed. We're not saying
Maybe it's
anything to
me.
the
I'm having
people.
connection issues for some reason.
Yes, you're a little frozen, but we can hear you. Now you're back. Okay. So now, those are some of the things, that lady talked about. Another thing that needs to be
Oh,
introduced, and lady even talked about this, is home insurance issues, right? In Gambia. Maybe there are people that may not be able to afford it, but there is a segment of the community that can afford it, right? So how about those people to be granted that opportunity to have access to that? In case of natural disasters like this, like fires, floods, windstorms, people will have a way of being indemnified by this insurance company. But now in Gambia, if you take all your hard-earned money and spend it on a house, these things happen, you lose everything. Or you have a shop in Gambia, it catches on fire, there's no insurance, you lose all of your investment. Anything that Gambia people are doing now, they're not getting indemnified, when stuff goes south. And another thing too, that's not just having this available, this insurance policy available, but also enforcing it. Because Tanga Modo Jako Kabri 1980 something for Malo 1990 something. A famala motor accident was the honeybee of our farmer no makan. Even insurance company no makan, they still don't get compensated for nothing. So those are other ways. Gambia, one thing every year at the first of the year, Gambia among people like other countries where ela mutual registration can expire during at your own time. Whenever you register. So it's a rolling thing. But Gambia, everyone's registrations, expires on December 31st.
31st, right.
Okay, so after December 31st, everyone has to go and renew on the 1st onwards, right?
Right.
So now what's happening is you have to have insurance in order to be able to do that too, to register. But people are paying insurance on their vehicles, but they're not getting anything out of it. If they get into an accident or whatever, they're not getting anything. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
And that's the biggest problem in Gambia. So Gambia in Kafuko, there is no system there, or there's no law there, and things like that. There are system that's lost in there, but it became enforced. And eventually they don't benefit anybody, because the insurance company be okay kang. Government should involve kite and the insurance company like, you have to do what you stand for. They hold them accountable, but lual bijele, system will bijele mele alonko, they are not being enforced. So ibeme fokante, those are good ideas, but Gambia by moment right now thing, it's going to be difficult to implement such system in there. And yeah, implement there, you have to think about enforce la nyame.
But why do you think we cannot enforce that or implement?
Well, who enforce the law? Who enforce the system is the government, not the
Yeah.
people, because the people don't have that. They can only talk, but who hold people accountable is the government. So the government mawo mentality sort of among ala fenkol kono. You mentality men sort of. Most of the government workers in Gambia, they don't have such kind of mentalities. The president doesn't have that kind of mentality, so he doesn't have those capability to think about those things and bring it up.
But
So
you
the,
also have to understand, Ko,
yeah.
those same people that work for the governments, they are service providers and they are consumers as well.
Yes, yes. But who enforce the law is the government, right?
So, but if the government does not enforce the law, whose responsibility is to cry foul? Like I said earlier, closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, it's us, but we are talking. Everybody is talking. Neither Facebook, every day people are talking about some of the things that need to happen in Gambia, things that are not happening in Gambia. The system is there, the laws are there, but they are not being enforced. And the government, it'll multi-million call enforced to make sure those things are like insurance. In the private individual, you cannot go after the insurance. Government has to hold them accountable for not standing what they stood for. So I mean, all these responsible have to go back to the government. Isaki no more can, but people have a limit. If the government doesn't hold people accountable, it affects corruption. Remember Gambia, nobody can hold anyone those kind of corruption, but if government can hold them accountable, and they will do the right thing.
Okay, I mean, I agree with you, most definitely. I agree with you. But another thing too, Gambia, okay, sometimes, I sit down and just look at issues and things. For example, you see $1 million a house, or $3, $4, $5 million a house. The house looks so nice. Everything within the premise of the compound where the house is looks so great.
Right.
But then when you get out of your house, your compound, you jump in potholes. You can't even walk around because the roads that connect to your house are extremely bad.
Yeah.
And real estate companies do these things, to, like, for example, a company like CAF, when they bring up housing in an area, they do internal roads, right? Which is very important. Now I've seen those happenings, but there are select areas in our communities that do not have those that luxury. You can't even get to those communities during the rainy season without soaking in water, like muddy water or like wastewater. You don't even know where the water is coming from. You see what I'm saying? So those are some of the issues but I think, on my end, the government needs to do a better job, in forecasting some of these natural disasters. It may not come as they think it would, but at least it helps them with their planning process on how to mitigate, such disasters when they do occur. So, and I think they need to do a better job, especially with NDMA. Let them not just be sitting there, writing policies and not implementing. So, like they say, lend a hand to the society, pragmatism, not theorems. They need to do a better job in that area. And I heard, lady mentioned earlier, Fananko, there's something about environmental issues, right? Like this deforestation that's happening. For example, when I was a kid growing up, Nitambita Nyambai Forest Lapago, Nyambai Forest was good. And Nyambai Forest is one of those man-made forests, that are there. And also between Brikama and Kembuje, the other forest that's there.
Yeah, it was thick forest.
Exactly. But now it has been deforested. So for earlier, those serve as windbreakers. They reduce the wind intensity. You see what I'm saying? When things are, when disasters like this happen, it reduces the wind speed rather. Okay? So if we have a good forest cover and, like cut 1 tree, plant 2 or 3. If we have that, I think in our communities, those will serve as natural barriers to ensure ninyin funyubal, mandinga kal kafunya de turbado, ninyin turbado bal keda, at least some of our communities might be saved. So those are just natural remedies that we can do, and it may not cost much for us to do. It does not cost much for you to plant, 2, 3 trees, in the front of your house. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So, but what about so malong ali muntabik dores to prungo ngadung kono reje.
I think the next topic is about the UDP, the UDP thing, the boycott, I guess. Right, lady? Oh, lady is muted.
I think she's having connectivity issues.
Okay.
Not sure what's going on.
Guys,
Yeah.
I think I'll excuse myself because my internet is really horrible and it's not doing well. So I'll just drop and join next Saturday. My internet isn't working out well for me.
Too bad.
All right. So
Can you guys
Bala
hear me?
and I, yeah, we can hear you most definitely. Can you hear us though?
Yeah, so it's carry on. I think it's the UDP fan boycott fan network stuff, right? Baba Jah Baiting Strategies.
Yeah, I mean, so with that, Nte Mumumfola is that, Baba Jah. So I think we'll just go ahead and drop lady, so since she's having connective issues, so.
Okay.
Let me see if I can remove her. Okay. So it's just you and I now.
Yeah.
So my thought process when it comes to that is that Yalom Banco, ning political bekela. Niaje kabring Obama ning John McCain be election or one of a John McCain supporter asked a question that was personal related to Obama, and John McCain, who was the opponent at the time, he could have capitalized on that if he wanted to go dirty, but immediately he stopped that supporter. Koyoko, we're not gonna go into personal lives here. We're gonna stop it. We're gonna talk about the issues, and that's it. Okay. But if you are a network holder, provider, for example, the Father Network, there is an onus, there's a level of responsibility when you know that this person that I'm inviting, will will say X, Y, and Z. Especially Niaje, that same person a week earlier, yeah, invited on a different platform, and he said so many things. Okay, 2 things you need in your London to la Bangkok. Niko ko nyum kendingo abe local president yala, but nyinke, as allegedly I muso konomandi o nyinke aka dolo minne. Ntola Bangkok kan nko mol jubele as imanke fenti.
Right.
Ka doyandi. So and Baba Jah is specifically doing that you know, to mostly they will think twice about Hussein Dabo to think twice about it. So it's a target. Okay? But ninga dunia mol jibe, you know, come in tola mboda daming dolo problem bad and stuff like that. But there are leaders from other countries, Munialongo. For example, told most of our religious leaders in Gambia that would frown upon Dolomimba and all those things. Some of those religious leaders, you know, cannot, you know, Niko Kening Obama Kane UBB, you know, Anyata Silale Kacha and stuff. They would not wait a suitors, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be eager to meet Obama. But Obama drinks alcohol.
Yeah.
But did that alcohol consumption, you know, impede his mental capabilities and abilities, you know, to serve his country? No. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, more, you know, your culture, your traditions, Alberta Daming, you know, you abide by those. So I understand in the Gambia, if you see somebody doing that, you know, you can't jubilate with a different eye. You know what I mean? So, but Baba Jah is the network responsibility, the Fatu network, to make sure when Baba Jah was coming, I'm not asking them to screen, you know, the interviewees. No, you don't have to do that. But you have to know, you know, when your presenter is not a well-trained journalist, it's not even a journalist, he's just a presenter that just started. You have to train him on how to guide conversations. Okay? And if the conversation is going south, example, Baba Jah about Usaini Dabo, the presenter should not celebrate that. You know, which means ibe kumo nyina tonya yandika afo kotek itela afo de, you know, kibir balbe kigang, you are in a way enticing this person to say more. So Alhaji Mohammed made a big mistake in that department, and so it's kind of crazy because now Jube, new political game, you know, Baba Jah and Usaini Dabo, Hadamadinya, they are equal in terms of Hadamadinya. You know, but in this political game, it's not a game of equals. They're not equal.
Yeah.
So Baba Jah is trying to bait Usaini Dabo into a public platform where he says, she says stuff.
Right.
You're accusing this man and you want the man to come out and, you know, coming Gambia word on to debunk some of these things that you're saying.
You know.
You understand what I'm saying? So what you kill know, because Usaini Dabo and Baba Jah, they're not on the same level. If Barrow were to accuse Usaini Dabo, or maybe if Halifa Saleh or somebody on the same level were to accuse him, he could come out and say something about, and fuck you. He did something similar to that. A few days ago, covering, you know, Barrow was ranting about Usaini Dabo conducting all kinds of press conferences. The same day or a day later, Usaini Dabo was addressing a crowd, and he did respond to that.
Right.
Why did he respond to Adama Barrow? Because they are equal on the political field.
Yeah.
But Baba Jah can say whatever he wants to say. He will be responded to by other surrogates of the UDP.
Right.
So he can cry foul, you know, as a diamuno for sinning, ko alafu Usaini Dabo na beng stadium ota bulola, you know, Kurano kan namu fenke million of dealer. Usaini Dabo will never respond to Baba Jah.
Yeah.
Not because among Jutalade as a human being, but because they're not on the same level.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think another thing that the borough camp should be very careful. If I have a relationship with you, Bala, and we fall out, you know, if I'm talking to people about you, I'll try to maintain the good that transpired between you and I, or think about the good that transpired between you and I, and not, you know, try to malign you at any possible opportunity I have.
Right.
If I do that, the person I'm saying that to should be cognizant of the fact, okay, is this person, should I even trust this person as my friend? Again, so the borough camp, you know, the political field is very fluid. It changes, people change all the time.
Right.
So the borough camp should be very careful to be very close to Baba Jah, because if they do get close to Baba Jah, he knows a lot of, if he knows a lot of their secrets, what happens tomorrow if he changes allegiance to the UDP or to another party?
Another party.
So now
Just
he's
like
going to go back there and spill those same beans to those people.
Yeah.
Baro sidale, baro betenne ngasamba more career, masamba tenne, baro fo atla adingo fa astagfirullah. I'm just saying the possible things that could be said. So if someone comes out, with that kind of fenko, tumala ataka mufoko, let's just assume ading Osenu Dabo yo cool kele. If they've been to places, he knows a lot of stuff about Osenu, like he alluded to.
Right.
He did not take over for you. So what does that tell about you as a person? You cannot keep a secret.
Yeah.
Who else will trust you? Who else would want to be close to you and make you their friend? Nobody. And the NPP camp themselves should be careful. If he can do that to Hussein that he's been with for 20-something years, my friend, he can do it to you that he's been with you for a year or two. It's very possible. So we have to be very cognizant of what we listen to. The networks, have a responsibility. I understand, Kafuko, I'm not going to take down the video. I'm not asking anybody to take down the video. But to be responsible enough and not to entertain, certain foul languages. Especially on Baba Jah, I think I have a book and then Ate damante amammo banning or a fanning with foul language. He does not assume anything else he says.
Yeah.
But Dola culture and traditions, there are certain things that you cannot say because when you say them, it represents what? Nendiro. So we have to be very careful of that, So I think Lawyer Dabo should not pay attention to what's happening. I think this is a concocted Fenco plan, and the plan is in motion. Is from the other camp, which is the NPP camp, and they're playing it to it. And Adama Barrow, you as the president, he should be civilized enough to where when issues like this happen, he should come out and condemn them. And I've never seen Adama Barrow come out and condemn what his people are saying. Nakiloko, some of these things are being said in forums and stuff like that. WhatsApp fora. I understand then that he may disassociate himself. But at a formal meeting also, when Fatumata Jawara came, at the Talending event, Barrow was sitting there, and this guy was disparaging Lawyer Dabo. And what did Barrow do? He was smiling. When other people are saying anything negative about Dabo, he smiles, which means it is a consensus. He agrees with those people. And you cannot, as a president, be in congruence with those people when they do such things, because you got to understand, tomorrow you can be an opposition figure. You see what I'm saying? The only person I've ever seen, try to discourage people from, undertaking such is Atodum, Hamad Ba. Hamad Ba would tell you, Kabin Jita wanted to do it, Ako, please, no Useni Dawudiamo, Alobula. And I've seen it not once, not twice. Hamad Ba coming in and trying to circumvent such occurrences. You see what I'm saying? So, so
no, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's just they have this desperate movement. May I don't call. It's created by Barrow himself, because Niajube Barrow don't talk that much. Aladiamo Jamabiji Kakaele, I mel employ lomba, I mel hire lombang, from the diaspora, Walakata, Benin cool, they think. But Niajube can accusation of make Barola, Dabola. It's coming from NPP. It's not coming from other political parties. It's all coming from the UDP sorry, MPP you call them the fighting dogs. Because some of those accusations Barrow be careful. So, but I know because he careful and he's in support of them, which is absolutely wrong. Come in for long, these people were together before. So now Talata, I try ala kukendo for because you know what more email elamang kunya long. But until after that, I mean, what I wanted to talk about was the fact that UDP supporters wanted to boycott Fadu Network.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't see. For me, I wasn't in support of that. Coming network a boycott. I don't think so. They should just speak their mind. A far thing. But the reason I can also see the other part, the reason why they insist that they need to boycott it, because near Fatu Network Jube, Fatu himself, sounds professional, but Fatu actional coming show up doesn't sound professional because near Jube Fatu can behave nyaming when it comes to media. Even a new first lady, the mockery he's continue, showing to the first lady. Ajube ban bring Baba Jah Nyinke a la platform or Aramune create you went and create this video. People are standing behind her and making the and you take you term yourself as a professional woman. It could be business or economy, but it can mean for and it can act is totally different. Fadu is never remorseful about this thing because at the end who make it a network or they should be held accountable for it. But instead of trying to I mean at least show some remorse and then even in my video in Jindi, but it's apology on behalf of the guy may Soning, they kind of issue some kind of apology, but I'm okay. He's been defiant, so no kera, Okamon Kamfala, because I see other people in Buffalo called UDP money and those UDP supporters are not supposed to boycott Fadu Network and things like that. Others are saying um they should boycott them. For me, I don't want the boycott, but I can also see the reason why these people insist that they need to boycott because Fatu is high time. We call her as one of the most powerful women in media, but you know what? Oh, powerfulness right now it's just going in vain because Fatu Molia Ajala, how irresponsible Abe Atkang, continuously defining people and the first lady continuously making mockery about her. It be program organized no like nyadile, kind of like that big show. The first lady talabo more demoralized and things like that. So I mean, I think it's hard time, Fadu Network, to put their eggs together.
I completely agree with you. And regarding the boycott though, okay, the Fadu Network is expressing the virtues of what? Free speech, right? So they're emphasizing whatever they put out there is fair game. So the onus is on, the other side, which is the UDP camp, to come, and be invited and, to rebuke or whatever those people said. I get that. So in the same vein of as exercising freedom of speech, it cannot apply to you and not apply to the others, right? So the UDP camp, even if it's wrong, they have the right to express or urge their members to boycott the platform. They can. It's free speech, right? Democracy. Wonderful, right?
Right.
So if the Fadu Network is maintaining they are clinging onto the virtues of democracy, then the UDP folks can say whatever they like. They can call even for people to boycott. Who are they asking to boycott? Their own people that watch Fadu Network.
Right.
Okay? Do they have a legitimate reason? Maybe not. But it's all around in the realm of what? Democracy. So personally, I would not ask any media house to be boycotted, but then I should come generally so a responsibility the media houses also have a responsibility. And also you have to understand the dynamics of the culture that you operate within. So until culture because until I grew up in a Serere household and also a Mandinka household. Okay. In a Mandinka household, you cannot say Komoloko Iman Tonyavo, somebody that it because it implies I fanyale for and niko muke about it. Nika ko fanyale for what does that mean? We are nene.
Yeah, right.
So you don't necessarily have to say the word, but you can imply it. So those are the things that should not be entertained in the networks also just because you want to get more views and also some kind of revenue from, how many views you got. You see what I'm saying? We understand the nature of the business. You gotta do at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for your business. I get that. But you also owe a moral duty, a moral responsibility to ensure that you balance the business aspect with the moral aspect so that you know the environment it will operate can within Munda. You understand? So when you bring people like Baba Jah to the show, or when you bring people whom they cannot sit down and have substantive conversation on issues. People Munyalonko, all they're gonna do is disparage other people. They cannot even talk about one policy issue. When they are talking about other issues, they can ride through the conversation like a nursery rhyme. But once you start asking them about specific, policy issues or things that distinguish them and the other parties, they start to stammer.
Right.
So that stammering tells you that they don't have the wherewithal, like the knowledge bank, to be able to talk intelligently about issues. So when that happens, I think, in the media household that directing your concept. And I'm trying to derail from the conversation.
Right.
If I'm talking to you, if you're interested in the conversation, you can redirect me back into the conversation. And I believe, that is the duty of Alhaji Muhammad, when doing that. I'm not going to ask for a network to be to be boycotted, but we owe a moral duty to ensure that we do what is right. I'm not just saying UDP as a political leader, Usainu Dabo cannot stop the UDP surrogates from Nendiro. All he can do is to condemn it at every given opportunity that he has, which I have seen him do that. Is it enough? Maybe flaky a little bit. Okay, he needs to do more because now, Momondia UDP Nkomwe, they try to equate them with what? Nendiro. Even though other places are doing it, but UDP is the most recognized camp that does that. And the way we need to do that is UDP Nkolfanang, they need to do some cleansing within themselves. Okay? Because what happens is, what some people, I think I read somebody like Pata PJ wrote something like that. He called it whataboutism. Okay? So when you say this, they say, what about the other, what about what you guys did over there? What about what you guys said, during this time frame? So, Niman Lafi Moyoku, how to say it in Mandinka, man. Niman Lafi Moyoku for Elakuoto Mumandia. Always try to do the right thing. So European call, that's something that I would urge them to make sure that they do an in-house cleansing. When you are bal, and we know who these people are. And
but but they are very powerful. Because most of them have a media.
Yes.
You have a media house. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Nendro.
So is the onus is on the UDP leadership, whoever it is, to reach out to those people and counsel them on the negative impact, because it's a lot of people that kind of feel a little nauseated when they hear about UDP. There are people, Munyaluko, they are sitting on the sidelines today. They would join the UDP camp if the UDP camp is not, quote unquote, termed a little as toxic. Some people say that.
Right.
Because of all these Nendiros that come out. Near Doimoy, no one is going to, identify them with Nendiro. So UDP should also do that. So you be civil, you tala, you kujama tala. So when events like this happen, it will be easy for people to sympathize and empathize with them. So yeah, so go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah. Nendro it become a problem. Not only UDP, but the new online media. So I mean, sorry, Facebook nowadays, Nendro become part of people's life, and which I don't get it, because you cannot just disagree with someone's opinion and just use insult to solve that problem. The insult will never solve any problem. Yeah, UDP, I know Molka accused back quick and Nendro, and it's true. Nendri Jamaka boy ila sidele. And it's something people need to talk about, and especially if la mol mel bijero, they need to condemn. But menkake, nobody come out and condemn. If you come out and condemn, they start insulting you. So yeah, insult mufene de mealonko. We have to talk about it. Nendro nafatala. Ndefang I went through it. That's why ndala fenko, there are particular words in there. Ningana articles, if you comment, you mention those words, that I block you or I just mute you, because Nendro is I can just understand why people it came by it. You have a good home training, you're gonna come on Facebook or on social media, you try to insult. And the sad thing is that even the insult, even more insult, or nikande farmer insult, you have a father, nikamodo bama insult, you have a mother, nikamodo insult, ibe nidam killed ibe another kill insult ka. Ika insult me, you have it. So you don't have self-respect. You lose your self-respect. That's why you are insulting others. And we just have to say as it is. Nendero is bad, and Melkaki among home training sort of, because need a good home training sort of. You're not gonna come on social media and insult people. You will never. If your parents, then it's either two things. Either parents solely, they don't. I mean, it may cook it, or either parents solely kulule, but then you went in a different path. That's two things, because in the nya brimbe grew up la. These are things he come from. Come here, man, for kuma do be love kafu keba ko. Iman tonya for those are in. I mean, you cannot tell that to elders. So there are particular words when we are growing up we can use those words, but those are the words that have been used now by Gambians themselves. So it's just normal.
All right, Balanko, why don't that, we are way over 1 hour. So what
I
are
know,
your last words, that you left on your surround Namunda?
I know. I mean, I think Gambian, we just make political time also, election time also. I think people should just with the politicians, let's just talk about their records. Let's just stop personal attacks, now stop more personal issues not on social media, or even if a political candidate you want to talk about it, just stay away from their personal life. Let's just attack their records. Records now you talk about it and things like that. But kata personal life not on social media. I mean nafarhala.
All right, Baraka Bakiman. So let's desist from personal issues and
Yeah.
focus on issues like that matter, issues that could progress the nation. Nga running over keda better alale. So guy na lady be internet connectivity issues so she had to drop, but next week she's gonna come back on with more fire. So the amount of time I won't lose be I'll able to find out next week and then Dimbali win that, so we cannot wait to have you guys next week at 5 p.m. Gambia time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time if you're in America, and I think it's 6 p.m. UK time. And if you're in Central time zone, it's 12 p.m. Pacific time is 10 a.m. So we cannot wait to have you. Please like, share, and follow our page, and also check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/LSTV1. All of these videos will be on the YouTube page as well, and they are there live anyway. So please like, follow, and share. This show will be back. It's the reality check show only on LSTV1. You cannot have it any other way. We keep it raw, unscripted, and we talk about the issues. Like Balafele de Haningan Sumasing Lafenko Kanasor Latila Fatiata, Kumo Befula. All right. Allah Barakaba. Allah Barakaba. Until we see you guys next Saturday. Please be safe. Have a great weekend and have a good week ahead of you. All right. Be